So because I've been watching anime for the past month, this is my best impersonation.
What do you mean you believe in God? That makes me angry. That makes me wanna kill you.
Oh, Mr. Tyrone. I just gotta get freaky for you because you love the hoes.
What's good, everybody? If you're a first time viewer of my content in this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody who's been sending me some very good questions and stuff like that. I asked a few people to send me some questions that I could just briefly go over. I actually recorded this video once and I did not like how it was recorded. I definitely didn't like how long-winded I was and the long-winded answers that I gave to the questions. So I thought over the questions a little bit more, and I guarantee you it's going to be not only shorter, but it's going to be more precise. So I have 5 questions and a bonus question that came in today. All right. And we're going to go over these questions and I'm going to answer these to the best of my ability. So the first question.
Why did you stop believing in God?
Well, I'm glad you asked. See, I stopped believing in God because I no longer see God as something outside of me. I no longer see God as this being that I have to praise and worship and admire outside of myself. I no longer have to feel like I have to read a Bible for a certain amount of time, or I have to pray every time that I wake up, or pray every time that I go to sleep, every time that I talk to myself, every time that I renew my mind and I brainstorm and I think to myself and I do better for myself and I apply discipline to my life and I do what's supposed to benefit me in my life. That is my praise and worship to God. That is me talking to God. That is me having a close relationship with God. Every time that I practice self-care in my life, that is me praising God. Every time that I treat myself well, every time that I treat this body well, I am serving God, because this is the temple. This is the altar of God. The moment that I began to believe and understand that God isn't outside of me, God is who I see every day in the mirror, everything turned around for me. I have less stress. I'm able to take more accountability for my actions and the things that I say and do. I don't blame the devil for whatever I say. I don't blame the devil for being tempted by this and that. Once I understand that God and the devil is within us and it's a reflection of my higher self and lower self, I'm able to take more accountability, and I'm also able to do better. I'm able to recognize the fault and the error in the certain things that I do and partake in. All right, second question.
Do you fear Judgment Day or going to hell?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, when I was entering into consciousness and I began to really bring, I began to level down everything concerning my disbelief in Christianity, right? There was a nerve that was struck concerning my belief in Christianity when I was 15 years old. And I talk about that in my podcast. I'm not going to deal with it here, but I deal with that in my podcast. You can watch that on Spotify. And I deal with the whole basis concerning, how I transformed from being a Christian, Jesus, Bible thumping Christian to becoming what I am today as the Omnius Drone. But the last thing that I had to get rid of when it concerned my beliefs was the fear of hell. And I feel like a lot of people, if they just get rid of that fear, then they no longer will have to contribute their life to something that they know is masqueraded, something that they know is not true. It's a fairy tale, And when you really study the Bible, I had to ask myself, well, is hell even in the Bible? And if you actually study the original text of the Bible, earlier versions even, they don't translate Sheol as hell. New Testament, they always refer to fire, hell, and brimstone, Gehennas. This was a trash dump, in Israel, and they would send trash there, and basically they would burn stuff with fire and brimstone. And so Jesus used a reference of Gehennas as a metaphor or a figure of speech concerning whatever type of lesson or whatever he was trying to bring down or talk about. And even when dealing with the concept of hell, it's a form of renewal. Hell, being cast into the lake of fire, is not for you to be condemned and shamed and burned for eternity. It was foretelling basically your renewal. It's like in the Greek mythology where you're cast into the fire and you rise from the ashes like a phoenix. I had to understand that we are energy, right? Something that will always play back in my head was to be absent of the body is to be present with the Lord. And when I came to the understanding that we are energy, and energy can't be destroyed or created, it can only be transferred, I then came to the understanding that God, if God is so omnipresent and omnipotent and all powerful, and we are literally God manifested in the flesh, then this source, this power, the soul that we are, cannot be created or destroyed. So therefore, hell can't be real. And I talk about this in one of my videos concerning the Hermetic laws. The Hermetic laws basically prove that hell can't exist. Now, concerning Judgment Day, there is no such thing as a Judgment Day. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but Judgment Day is not to come. Judgment Day is not for when you leave this earth. It's not for when the second coming of Jesus arrives or happens, whatever the case is. Judgment Day happens every time that you go to sleep and when you wake up. You reflect upon the things that you said to somebody. You reflect upon the things of what you could have done better, what you did do today, and what you can do to become a better person when you wake up. That moment of you falling asleep and waking up is this concept of dying and resurrecting. You know, putting away the past, putting away the old. And when you wake up, it's a new day. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. And so this same concept is applied to Judgment Day. Every day you put yourself through a judgment day. You judge your own values. You judge your own morals. You judge your character and who you are. And you display the good and the bad. And you try and decipher how can you become a better person. And that, to me, is what Judgment Day is. On to the third question.
What is your belief system, and how do you know that what you believe is true?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Nobody knows. I don't know. I don't know if what I believe in is really true. I don't know if everything to life itself is omnism. I mean, Socrates said it best. If there's one thing that I know, is that I know nothing. So when you come to the understanding of what knowledge really is and infinite knowledge is for you to be ever learning. Infinite knowledge is for you to understand that things that you think is the end all be all isn't the end all be all. The things that you have confirmed and held down in place concerning your belief system, whether it's God or Yahweh or Allah, these things are not just black and white. It's not just left or right. It's not just good or evil. Both have to play a hand in this. There are many different perceptions and viewpoints concerning this world than just what you know. How you perceive the world here, like in America, is different from how somebody else perceived the world in somewhere like Nigeria or Uganda or Ireland or Scotland or the UK or Asia or people in Australia and so on and so forth. People have different scopes and views on this world than just your perception. And it would be very narrow-minded for you to think that the way that you perceive life is just the end-all, be-all. It's either your way or the highway. You know, it's either heaven or hell. It's either God or the devil. It's either Democrat or Republican. It's the same false dichotomy. Getting to the next question.
Have you read the Bible and studied for yourself?
I did indeed. As a matter of fact, for people who really been following me, like, you seen this picture, right? You see the big cross. You see my grandma, you know, rest in power. You see this. You see the bookmarks in my Bible. Like, I was a full-blown Jesus-loving, Bible-thumping Christian. All right, so I know the Bible front to back. Next question.
What do people around you think of your beliefs? Like friends or families?
I don't really care. And I'm going to be very frank with you. I haven't really faced that final dragon yet. Like, I haven't felt the full heat of that dragon's breath yet. For the most part, when I first came to my closer family, like parents, uncles, auntie, all that type of stuff. Most of them just think that what I process in terms of information and how I display information, like Baffy, all of this is just a phase. Most of them, they think, I'm eventually going to grow out of it. I've been through that process too, where I was trying to search for God and go on my own path, but then I came right back. All this type of stuff, right? I can guarantee you none of them have walked the same type of path that I have been walking on and will continue to walk on, And even it goes down to the basis of, when I was raised up in the church, the pastor even told the audience and the congregation and told me that I was going to be a pastor. And I think he was a little right. Matter of fact, I take that back. I think he was all the way right, but I don't think he saw the whole vision for itself. I think he knew that I was going to be a spokesperson. I was going to be somebody outspoken. I was going to be somebody to have a platform to speak, to teach, or whatever the case may be. But I don't think he saw the vision all the way through. I think he was in touch. And I don't think he heard the whole song out. For my friends, most of my actual friends, they agree with my perceptions, or they can respect my perspectives in terms of beliefs. As for family, that's a different story. So if they ever come across my content on social media and my social media start booming and stuff like that, my oh my, well, what a time that will be. Close family, friends.
What did Tyrone post? Excuse, did you see what your son just said about God on social media? I know Tyrone ain't say nothing like that.
Oh boy. And now down to our bonus question. Why do you promote promiscuous behavior to our women? So I had this comment given to me under one of my posts, and they said this in the comment section. Basically, it was Bobby Hemmett talking about women who are very promiscuous, and that men need to run to these type of women because they're more tapped into a certain type of energy. For those who really want to know what type of energy this is, I speak up on this and I talk about this exclusively on my content for those who are members on my YouTube. So make sure you become a member, and the link to that will be in the description box below. But anyways, he basically saying that, it sounds good to those who don't have daughters, but then when you grow up and you have a little girl, you basically don't want her to be a 304. You don't want her to live that type of life. Basically saying that you have to make a decision between her being a 304 or her being a good woman. Now, I'm just going to be very blunt, and I'm just going to be very brief with this, right? There's a reason why women keep so many secrets from their fathers. For the fathers who may be watching this, if you think that your little girl, entering into middle school, high school, going off to college even, especially going off to college, if you think that they're just in their room reading their Bible, praying to God, you're out of your goddamn mind. Me personally, this is just dealing with having a lot of women around me, associating and talking to a lot of women. I cannot express to you how many women are they just show themselves as an angel in the eyes of their father, but behind closed doors, in the shadows, they're a demon, they're a succubus, all that type of stuff. Never will cuss, never will even mention anything concerning, the penis around their father. But you better believe they out here like a hot girl, even in the winter. And if we were to get down to the basis of why women keep secrets from their fathers, and even with women going down these type of pathways and stuff like that, I'm gonna make a podcast episode about that, and I will let you know when it's out. All right. But till next time, I'm Tyrone. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any more questions concerning anything concerning my belief system or different ideologies and perspectives, occultism, metaphysics, just anything that's on your mind, leave those in the comment section below, or you can DM me at the Omnius Rome on Instagram. All right. And before you go, check out these other videos.
Long as I got God, black women, and the squad, I sucker. Oh.